The camera was set up for a completely different reason. The fridge had been opening on its own at night, and the plan was to catch whoever was doing it on tape. The camera went on, the house was left empty for about 6 hours, and the fridge mystery was solved within the first 30 minutes. But the footage kept recording. And what happened between minute 20 and hour 6 was something that nobody in the house was prepared to see. Not destruction, not chaos. Something quieter. Something worse. In the last video, we looked at how smart pigs are, how they solve problems, how they calculate every decision. That intelligence has a cost, because an animal that thinks at that level also feels at that level. And what a pig feels when she is left alone is more than most owners realize. My name is Bob, and watching that footage back is the reason this video exists. The first 20 minutes after the front door closes are calm. The pig usually does not react immediately. She watches the door, she listens. There is a pause that lasts roughly 30 seconds to a minute where the pig appears to be processing whether the departure is temporary or significant. During that pause, the ears rotate slightly, tracking residual sounds from outside. The car door, the engine, the sound of the vehicle pulling away. Once the last sound fades, the pig makes her first move. In most cases, she walks to the front door and sniffs the bottom edge. This is the olfactory version of checking whether the person is still on the other side. The scent near the door is fresh. The person was here moments ago. The pig stands at the door for anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes, then slowly backs away. What happens next follows a predictable sequence. The pig begins a shortened version of her nighttime patrol. Not the full route, a reduced version. The rooms where the anchor spends the most time get visited. The spot on the couch, the kitchen, the bedroom doorway. The pig is not looking for food. She is looking for the person. Each location gets a sniff check. Each location confirms the same result. Present recently. Gone now. The patrol takes about 5 minutes, and when it ends, the pig returns to the front door. This is where the waiting ritual begins. Most pigs develop a specific position near the front door that they maintain for extended periods. Some sit facing the door. Some lie down with their snout pointed toward it. Some find a spot within direct sightline of the door and settle there. The position is deliberate and consistent. The same pig will choose the same waiting spot every single time the house empties. That consistency is not coincidence. It is a coping strategy. The pig has decided that the door is the most important variable in the current situation, and she is monitoring it. Over weeks and months, the waiting spot becomes almost sacred. The pig does not use that spot at any other time. It is not a sleeping spot. It is not a resting spot. It is exclusively the waiting spot. If a blanket gets placed there, the pig will push it away. If furniture gets moved near it, the pig will work around it. The spot is reserved for one purpose, and the pig maintains that reservation with the same precision she applies to everything else in her environment. The waiting can last anywhere from 30 minutes to several hours. During this period, the pig is not asleep. Her eyes may be half closed, but the ears stay active. Any sound from outside, a car, a voice, footsteps on the walkway, triggers an immediate response. The head lifts, the ears rotate forward, the body tenses with anticipation. And then, when the sound passes without the door opening, the pig settles back down. That cycle, the lift and the settle, repeats every time an external sound occurs. Over a 6-hour period, this can happen dozens of times. Each one is a small hope followed by a small disappointment, and the pig processes every single one. Here is what separation stress actually looks like in a pig, because it is different from what most people expect. A dog with separation anxiety tends to be vocal. Barking, whining, pacing, visible agitation. A pig with separation stress goes quiet. The contact calls stop. The soft grunting disappears. The pig becomes still in a way that looks like calm but is actually withdrawal. She is conserving energy and reducing her emotional exposure. The body language is subtle. A slight tension in the jaw, ears that do not fully relax, eyes that track movement outside the window but do not brighten. A pig that appears to be resting peacefully near the door might actually be in a low-grade stress state that looks nearly identical to contentment from the outside. The difference is in the details. A content pig has loose ears, a soft belly, and responds to ambient sounds with curiosity. A stressed pig has slightly rigid ears, a tighter posture, and responds to sounds with hope, followed by disappointment. The distinction requires knowing what the pig looks like when she is genuinely relaxed versus when she is performing stillness as a coping mechanism. Most owners cannot tell the difference until someone points it out. In severe cases, the pig stops eating for the duration of the absence. Not because the food is unavailable, because the motivation to eat has been temporarily overridden by the stress of the missing bond. A pig that does not eat when her person leaves is not on a hunger strike. She is in a state where the social disruption has suppressed her appetite. That is a physiological stress response, not a behavioral choice. There are pigs that cope well. They settle into the waiting position, nap intermittently, eat when they feel stable enough, and resume normal behavior when the person returns. These are typically pigs that have experienced departures and returns consistently over time. They have learned the pattern. The person leaves, the person comes back. The cycle is reliable. That reliability reduces the stress over months, though it never eliminates it entirely. Even a well-adjusted pig that has been through hundreds of departures still does the door check, still does the reduced patrol, still settles into the waiting spot. The routine persists. The anxiety around it decreases. The little one in the herd figured this out faster than the others. She does the door check, does one lap through the main rooms, then goes directly to her blanket and sleeps. Genuinely sleeps. Ears relaxed, breathing steady, body fully down. She learned the pattern early and trusts it. But even she lifts her head every time a car drives past. The trust is real. The vigilance never fully turns off. Then there are pigs that do not cope well. Pigs that pace. Pigs that root up flooring. Pigs that chew on furniture or walls. Pigs that vocalize for hours. These behaviors are not disobedience, they are overflow. The pig has more stress than her coping mechanisms can contain, and the excess comes out physically. It is the same principle as a person pacing during a phone call they are anxious about. The body moves because the mind cannot sit still. For pigs in this category, the issue is not that they need more training. They need a different departure experience. And that is where the practical part comes in. 5 things that measurably reduce separation stress in pigs. The first is departure consistency. Leave at the same time, return at the same time. The pig builds a mental clock. When the clock is reliable, the uncertainty drops. The second is a departure cue, a specific action that happens every time before leaving, a phrase, a gesture, a routine at the door. The pig learns to associate the cue with a temporary departure, not an abandonment. The cue becomes a signal that means this is the short version, not the permanent one. Third is a scent anchor. Leaving a worn piece of clothing in the pig's resting area, the scent of the anchor person in the space provides a residual sense of presence. It is not a replacement, it is a bridge. Fourth is environmental enrichment during absence. A puzzle feeder, a rooting mat, something that engages the pig's problem-solving brain. Not a distraction, an occupation. A pig that has a task can redirect some of the waiting energy into something productive. Fifth, and this one matters most, is the return protocol. When the person comes back, the greeting should be calm, not a burst of excitement and apologies, a quiet acknowledgement. The pig needs to learn that returns are normal events, not celebrations. If every return is a dramatic reunion, the pig learns that departures are dramatic events. If every return is calm and routine, the pig learns that the whole cycle is a normal, safe pattern. This is the hardest one for owners to implement because the impulse after being gone is to scoop the pig up, shower her with attention, apologize for leaving. That impulse is human and understandable. But the pig reads it differently. She reads the intensity of the return as confirmation that something bad happened. The bigger the reunion, the bigger the absence must have been. A calm return teaches the pig that the absence was not significant, that it was normal, that the world continued without incident. And over time, that calm return is what allows the pig to stop treating every departure as a potential loss. The thing is, none of this erases the fact that the pig waits. Even the most well-adjusted pig, with the best departure routine, with the scent anchor and the puzzle feeder and the calm returns, still walks to the door after the person leaves. Still sniffs the bottom edge, still finds her spot and settles in. The waiting is built into the bond. It is the cost of being chosen by an animal that remembers everything and feels it deeply. And the footage from that camera, The hours of quiet waiting, the ear rotations toward every passing car, the small hopes and small disappointments, that footage is the clearest picture of what a pig thinks about the person she lives with. She thinks about them even when they are not there, especially when they are not there. Next video is the last one of this month. 5 things that pigs hate, genuinely hate, but tolerate because they trust the person doing it. Some of them are things that most owners do every single day without a second thought. That one is the video that ties everything together.